welcome to our February Mega Rockstars cooking class. We are so excited to have you here. We've got some great recipes. I don't know about you guys, but we are focusing on healthy eating. So everything we're going to share with you tonight is healthy, which is exciting. Healthy doesn't mean that it doesn't taste good. We have been on a serious health journey here at my house. Someone I love very much has been watching their blood pressure and their blood sugar numbers. And so I'm supporting that person I love. And we've been eating really healthy, but it's been super tasty as well. So we wanted to share some of those recipes with you and tips and tricks along the way. The Bond Cook can help you guys to in your health journey, whatever that may be. So welcome. Please let us know if you are a guest here tonight or a consultant. Let us know you're here. Say hello in the chat box, and then let us know who invited you. We'd love to know and keep track of you all who are here with us tonight. So first recipe that I'm going to make is a quinoa enchilada bake. This is really great. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely have some friends who are vegetarians or vegans, and I'm like, what do I make for them? So this is one of those recipes that my husband loved, but it is suitable for anybody on that is vegetarian or vegan. And then we've decided that in our house, it's going to be more of a side dish, or we're going to add chicken to it to give it some more protein because we do love our protein. So I'm going to make this super simple, tasty, healthy enchilada sauce. So yum. So I did start it before I came on video because I didn't want to turn my back to you. And I started with half a teaspoon of our EVOO. This is the best extra virgin olive oil ever, you guys, from France. Amazing. So I only did half a teaspoon in here. And then I did our minced garlic. And then I let that just brown slightly. It was literally like 1 minute to do it. Don't turn your back because if you do, you'll burn it. But you can just see that toasty golden color that we got. And then if I was not on the video with you, I'd be doing this over my stovetop as we go. But I'm just going to show you how simple this is. So 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. And then I always recommend with canned items, beans, tomato sauces, whatever, to get the low sodium or no sodium, because you can then add the healthier sea salt or no salt, depending on what your food plan of choice is. So that is our tomato sauce. And then to that, we're going to add 1/4 of a cup chicken broth. You can use vegetable broth if you need to be vegetarian. I also recently roasted a chicken and we had I made some bone broth. And so I used bone broth in my recipe, which is great. And then 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. I don't know about you guys. I love cumin. It smells so good. And then I'm going to, have you guys ever cooked with, I'm looking at recipes, I'm saying chipotle and adobo sauce. Super spicy, but with all these flavors, it's really not overly spicy. But if you're just going to eat one of these peppers alone, yes, super spicy. So we're not actually doing the pepper. We're just getting the sauce. And so I've got 1 tablespoon of the chipotle and adobo sauce. Okay, and then I'm gonna whisk that up. It smells so good, you guys. I wish that you could taste it. I'm whisking it with our mini whisk. If you guys don't have this, such a handy little tool in the kitchen. It makes whisking these sauces, whisking a couple eggs up, making a vinaigrette or something. So easy, you guys. So I've got that enchilada sauce going now. At this point, you can salt and pepper it to taste. I'm gonna use just a little bit of our Sel Gris. It's our French gray sea salt. And it comes out very fine, and I love that because it limits how much we're going to use. I'm going to use about half a teaspoon in the whole sauce. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my favorite pepper, which is our Telecherry. Comes with our Pep Rally pepper mill. And I'm just going to do a couple pulls of the Telecherry pepper. And then you can taste it from there and see what you like, okay? So then this is going to simmer over cooking oil and then simmer for just a couple minutes to infuse those flavors. That's all. Okay, while that is simmering, I'm going to do my quinoa mixture. The quinoa you make ahead of time. You can do it on your stovetop. You can do it in your microwave in one of our large round or medium round molds. You pick whichever way you like to do it. Super simple. Follow the package directions. It's all in the recipe too. If you do not have the recipe, ask your consultant for it. We sent the recipe packets out today. So if you need that, just ask. So to the quinoa, and if you're going to grab a spoon so that I can show you guys from our set of 3 spatulas. I love these guys for mixing things up. So the green one is one of my favorites. It's like big giant spoon. Love, love, love it. So the recipe calls for a 4-ounce count of diced green chilies, not the cilantro yet. This is an 8-ounce can, so I'm just going to do half of it. And nope, you don't need to drain it. I'll use the other half in some quiche later. So we're just going to do half of the diced green chilies. And then to that, I'm going to add, it's 3/4 of a cup black beans, rinse and drain. Okay, you don't want all the juice of the beans. And then 3/4 of a cup fresh or frozen corn, but you want to make sure by the time you put it in here, it's thawed. And so I cooked that in the microwave for just a quick 3 minutes. So I've got my black beans and my corn and my quinoa and my green chilies. Okay, so then we're going to add some of my very favorite zesty Mediterranean herb blend. This in our house is what we use as a taco blend. We use it for our taco meat. We use it for enchiladas. You name it. It gets layers of great flavor. So with our herb blends, if you didn't know this, you guys, they're salt free. So that's awesome for somebody who's trying to eat a low salt, low sodium diet. I'm going to shake it up because then the heavier pieces fall at the bottom. You want to kind of make sure they're all blended up. And then a little tip that I did test for you tonight, because I say it a lot, but in case you didn't know, the lid, it holds approximately 1 tablespoon. So there is 1 tablespoon. Look how fresh that zesty Mediterranean herb blend looks. Oh my gosh, it smells so good, you guys. It's just awesome. So I'm going to add that in there. I'm not going to add any more salt to this because like I said, we're going to try and keep the salt down. I did cook the quinoa with bone broth, which had a little salt in it. And then I also added in that sauce, which is going to go on there. And then I'm going to add some cheese in here. And the cheese to me has plenty of salt in itself. So, okay, so then I'm just making sure I didn't forget anything. Oh, cilantro. So I did chop up the cilantro already in our Eco Chop. And so I want to show you how awesome the Eco Chop did chopping that. You can do the Eco Chop or you can use the mini herb chopper. I'm going to show you a difference between these two here in just a minute, but I want to get this going in here first. So I'm just going to get all that yummy fresh cilantro in the recipe. Oh my gosh, it smells so good, you guys. Okay, so then we're toasting that up. And then last but not least, I'm going to add 1 cup of we're doing reduced fat Mexican blend cheese. This in the bowl is 2 cups, so I'm just going to put about half of this in here. It's going to be for that mixture, okay? Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could smell this. It smells so good, and it's not even in the oven yet, but I will show you how amazing this looks. Look at all that. Does that look so good? I just eat out of that bowl. It's yummy. Okay, so I want to, before I put this together, I want to talk to you about the mini herb chopper and the Eco Chop because I get this question a lot. So we kind of call this the baby chopper in the house. You can see it's a little bit smaller than the Eco Chop. But the piece, why do you want the mini herb chopper when you can do just that everything in the Eco Chop? Let me tell you. So garlic, we're going to show you the difference. Literally, if the only thing I use this for my house in was mincing garlic, it would be worth it because it does such an amazing job. So I'm going to show you the difference between garlic in the Eco Chop and garlic in the mini herb chopper, okay? So let's start with our Eco Chop. Let's put that on there. Just pull that. I'm going to pull it a bunch of times. Okay, pulled it a bunch of times. You can see it chopped up nicely. But what you can see is it's chopped up about as small as you can get, but it's not minced. So now I want to show you what the mini herb chopper does. So I've got my garlic in there. You put the lid on, it locks in place. There's 2 ways to use this. You can twist, hold the rubber piece on the bottom and twist it. Okay. Or you can roll it. Gotta make sure the counter's dry. So that's what I'm feeling. So you roll it on the counter. And then I want to show you the difference in that. Now we've got minced garlic. Okay. So there's nothing left behind in the garlic press. My fingers aren't all gross from pressing it out. My garlic is nice and minced. So highly recommend this. You can also do the cilantro in here. I did that this weekend in the mini herb chopper, but it does about 1/8 of a cup. And so if you just want a little bit for garnish, I love the mini herb chopper for those items. There's a little bit of any herb it's perfect for. But anything more than 1/8 of a cup, you're going to want to do in the Eco Chop, which I'm going to make guacamole in this later, so that's going to get to good use, but I don't want to go into that too far right now because we've got lots of more recipes to share with you, but I want to finish this one. So we're going to do, you've got any mold of choice. You can put it in a pretty shaped mold. You can do an individual shaped mold like this 6-loaf tray, Or you can do the 9x13, which we love, the workhorse in the kitchen. Absolutely love it. So here's the deal, guys. If you're going to pop it out, which I'm going to show you here in the 6 loaf in a minute, definitely put some cheese down on the bottom. This is the cool part about our flexible products is that you don't have to spray grease oil, prep the pan in anyways. And yes, you can put cheese straight on there. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so then after put that cheese, now it's time to dump the quinoa, bake, all that yumminess. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Look at this. So you can see it's super easy to add some chicken to this. You could add, I would add shredded chicken if I was doing that. I'm going to do some cauliflower nachos tonight for some friends who are coming over. So I'm not going to add that here, but if I wasn't doing that recipe, I would be adding chicken to this. You could also add some pulled pork, Chance said some carnitas would be good, but look how good this is. I honestly think you could also add some eggs to this and make this like a breakfast enchilada bake, which would be so good. So what we're going to do here is just kind of press that quinoa bake into the 9x13. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. And then the next step is to add our yummy enchilada sauce on top. So I'm going to go ahead and just pour. You're going to see this is exactly the right amount. This just makes it, you guys, so much yummy flavor. I'm so excited to eat this again tonight. Okay, so we've got the enchilada sauce. Just going to do a nice gentle spread on that. So every little bite gets some. And then we're going to pop this in the oven. The oven, by the way, has been preheating. I didn't mention that, but it's preheating to 400 degrees. And this is, everything's cooked. So it's really just heating it up. So it's going to go in until the cheese melts, which is going to be about 20 minutes. And then we're going to enjoy that with our meal tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Sherry, who's going to share our next recipe. Are you ready, Sherry?
Sorry. Yes, I'm ready.
All righty. Fantastic. Take it away.
Wow, Teresa, that looks amazing. I can't wait to try that recipe. And
Thank you.
which is amazing.
Yes.
So tonight I'm going to make salsa and homemade tortilla chips. And so to start with, I'm going to make the tortilla chips out of yellow corn tortillas, and they're the extra thin. And there's 24 in this package. And yesterday I made them for a appetizer for the football game. And so just to let you know, if you use the full package, it took the large perforated baking sheet and large bond mat, and it was like 3 batches. So I'm not going to do that tonight, so because it would take way too much time. But I'm going to cut up some tortillas into triangles, and I'm going to start with cutting them in half, and then again that way, and cross this way, and then this way. So comes out to a triangle, like a chip. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in the mixing bowl. But I also thought it would be fun, since Valentine's Day is coming up, to make some heart-shaped chips. And so I have one round here, and you get it really close to the edge. I think you can get about, I don't know, maybe 5 parts out. Oops, sorry. I can put my glasses on. Okay. So this comes, well, not quite going through there. Okay. So they make cute little hearts. And I'm just going to go around. Like I said, get close to the edge so you can use as much of the tortilla without doing too much waste. So this time I only got 3, but yesterday I got a lot more. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. Maybe I used a smaller cutter. But these are one of our products. It's the heart shaped, and they're so much fun, especially for Valentine's or really any time of the year. So I'm going to, in our mixing bowl, I'm going to use, let me just put this, our French Pantry Tahitian wine. And the recipe calls for 1 to 2 tablespoons, but since I don't have very much in here, probably just do 1 tablespoon. Sprinkle it around. And then kind of just mix the tortillas around, because what this is going to do is not only give it some flavor, but it will also crisp up the tortillas to make it more like a chip. So, okay. So, got that. And then next I'm going to put them on. I'm going to place my bond mat onto the perforated baking sheet. And I'm not going to put any more grease, oil, or anything, because you don't have to do that. It just turns out amazing. I'm going to, let's see. Put the chips onto the bond mat. And I will bake these at 400 degrees. And I found that my oven, it really only took like 6 minutes. So if this is a new recipe for you, you might want to check early on, because I think the recipe says up to 12 minutes. But for some reason, my oven tends to like to cook a little faster. So we're going to go ahead and put those on the baking sheet. And I'm using the medium perforated baking sheet and bond mat. But if you make a larger batch, you know, you can either, if you have this already, this tray, you can, you know, just make multiple batches. And then I'm going to sprinkle some of our French pantry celery salt. Just going to do a quick twist, because I don't want to do a whole lot, because we are trained not to eat a lot of salt. Kind of with Teresa's loved one that tried to cut back on salt with high blood pressure and all that good stuff. So then I'm going to put these in the oven for, like I said, I'm going to probably do this smaller batch, probably check it after about 3 minutes. And so put those over to this, actually, yeah, I'll put those over to the side. And then next I'm going to make our San Marzana salsa. And I start, so with the San Marzana whole tomatoes are amazing. And they come with a lot of sauce. So I went ahead and just took the tomatoes out with a slotted spoon and put it in the bowl. And as you can see, I have a lot of sauce left over. So you definitely don't want to pour the whole can of tomatoes into the bowl. And actually, I meant to pour those into the little ahead of myself. Actually, I meant to pour those into the EcoChop, our amazing EcoChop. It doesn't require any electricity. And put it on. And for this, it was probably, I did about 6 pulls. And of course, if you don't want it as chunky, you can do less pulls. And so there's, that's your base for your salsa. Here right now. And then pour it into the stainless steel bowl. And I'm using the same spoon that Teresa was using. It's amazing. I love it. I love the color, love everything about it. So next I am going to push this over here. And I went ahead and to make it timely I chopped up quartered up some onion, red onion, cilantro, have some whole garlic, 2 green scallions, and I seeded a jalapeno. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, I'm going to go ahead and put all of this into the EcoChop. So that's and the garlic, and I know that Teresa did, and it is true that the garlic, I kind of find when it's by itself in the EcoChop, it doesn't mince it, but I kind of found that when it has other stuff in there, it tends to be okay to do it all together. So I'm going to do all these ingredients together. Chop it up. As you can see, it chopped it up, but you know what? And actually, I think I might just add in some of my red onion, to get it even just a little bit more fine. I think I find that when you put more stuff in there, it kind of chops it up a little bit finer. Okay. Sorry if that was really loud. Okay, so I'm gonna put this into my bowl with the tomatoes. Should have got my spatula out. Probably would have really used it. Okay. Now I'm gonna just do the rest of the red onion. Great. Great. You don't have to, and you know, when preparing meals that have a lot of chopping, this little chopper is amazing. It saves a lot of time. Because you know, if I were to just chop these all with a knife, I'd be here for a really long time. I love this chopper because not only doesn't require any batteries or electricity, it's pretty amazing. All right. Then I'm going to put this to the side. And so the recipe actually calls for cumin and smoked paprika, and that's the way I made it yesterday, and it was amazing. It was really tasty. But since it's just my husband and I tonight, he's not really a cumin fan, so I'm going to leave that out, and I'm going to use our amazing French pantry meat herb, and this has garlic, onion, red paprika, parsley, chive, chili pepper, black peppercorn, and paprika. That has 2 types of peppers. I'm going to shake it. And so I figured about 2 teaspoons would probably be good. Just going to sprinkle that over. That. Okay, and then, oops. Add one line. I'm going to cut it in half. And if you don't have our citrus press, this is like the Cadillacs of all Cadillac citrus press. It is so easy to use. I'm going to put the lime down. And as you can see, it gets out so much juice. It's great. And it comes out like that. Piece the other half. There we go. That's. Oh, and as Teresa mentioned, the one thing that I love about our herbs is that there's no salt. So you get to control the salt when you're cooking. And it's all fresh, dried herbs, which I just love so much. Okay, so then I'm just going to stir this up. Smells amazing. And such an easy recipe. I mean, if you need an appetizer to take to, you know, dinner or have at home, when you have friends over or just whenever. And it also makes a great salsa to put on fish tacos. That would be amazing. So here we go. We got all mixed up. And I think dish it up. And with the I cooked these earlier, so this is how they turned out. Browned nicely, and they just kind of slide right off. They don't stick or anything. And the hearts turned out pretty cute too. So I'm just going to go ahead and layer those around. I will pour it here. actually, we're a little thin, but just showing you how it works. And then we're gonna put the salsa in a little bowl. And there you go. Some salsa.
Oh my gosh, that looks so yummy.
Yes.
Love that salsa. Thank you for sharing that. And I
Yes.
love the heart-shaped chips. That's so perfect.
Fun for Valentine's Day.
It is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, passing it to Dana.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to have you in my kitchen. I've been kind of offline for a while dealing with some health issues, but the kitchen is my happy place and it's made even happier with all of you joining me. So welcome, welcome. I am just kind of finish off hitting it out of the park with this really healthy meal. We're kind of doing a little progressive dinner here. And you guys, your recipes looked amazing. I love the heart-shaped chips. I love the San Marzanos because they're always in season, and that's so awesome. They're so great. Okay, so I'm going to be making a Bon Cook healthier carrot cake. Now, I've had my own health issues for the last over a year. I started out with a Mediterranean diet, then I went to the DASH diet, then I'm on the anti-inflammatory diet. But the awesome thing is our products can walk alongside you with whatever health issues you have. You don't need a special recipe. You can use it for any way you need to. So we love to walk alongside you. I had to write down all the things that this cake is not. It is gluten-free, no gluten, no dairy, no eggs, no oil, no sugar, but what it is full of is flavor. So this is a great cake that you can make just to have around and snack on with your coffee, but I'm going to show you how you can turn it into a celebration showstopper dessert. For those people like me who I still love to bake, and baking is my love language, and I want to eat treats sometimes. So this is kind of the one for you. So you do use your blender, it kind of does the heavy lifting for you. I'm also going to use the Eco Chop. So we're just going to get started. I already ground up, and please reach out to the consultant who invited you for all of our recipes tonight and their shopping links so you can grab all these great things. So the first thing the recipe has you do is grind up oats, and I love to use my Bob's Red Mill gluten-free old-fashioned oats. You want to use the old-fashioned oats here, not the quick oats. And you grind it up in your blender until it looks like, I can reach my hand here because it's not on the base, but you want it to look like flour, okay? So you don't want any whole pieces of oats when you're done. In my blender, it only took about a minute, and it's like a grind setting. So I'm going to pour that into the mixing bowl. And yes, we are sad that we no longer have this mixing bowl available, but if you have it, oh my gosh, you know how much you love it. So into the bowl it goes. We're going to use the blender again, so I just have it off camera. To this, I'm going to add cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, baking powder and baking soda. And I'm going to use that trusty mini whisk that we all know and love to just incorporate those spices and the leavening ingredients. Because this doesn't have eggs in it, it just has the baking powder and baking soda. It's not going to rise a lot, but it doesn't need to because it's so tasty. So that's what that looks like. I'm going to set that aside, bring my lovely blender over. And so what I did was, like I said, there's no sugar in this recipe. It's all sweetened with raisins, dates, and bananas. So about 15 minutes ago, or you can even do it longer, I took some non-dairy milk, and you can use whatever non-dairy milk you like. I used the Almond Breeze unsweetened vanilla, so it does have a little more vanilla in it. And then you're going to take your dates and your raisins, and you're going to just let them sit in the milk so they get nice and soft. The dates that I used were from Trader Joe's, look like this. Now, I love Trader Joe's. Anybody who's followed me, you know I love my Traders, but they are supposed to be dried and pitted. So it calls to chop them up, but I'm like, why do you really need to chop them if the blender's going to do it? I would recommend at least cutting them in half, because the recipe calls for a half an 8-ounce bag. And in that half, I found 3 pits in there. So you don't want to ground up pits in your cake. No pit, that's the pits. So get your Trader Joe's, but definitely at least cut them in half. And then I use golden raisins. And then I have a half a banana. So all that's going into the blender. And you can see all those dates and raisins were in the bottom. And I'm going to use one of my favorite products. If you do not have the blender spatula, run, do not walk to the consultant who invited you and get a blender spatula, because It is not only great for fishing stuff out of your blender, but it is awesome in your KitchenAid bowl, which I'll show you later. Okay, so this is that. That's all ready to go. The only thing I'm going to add to this is vanilla, and I love the Trader Joe's vanilla bean paste. So you can kind of see, you can see on the lid how those are all vanilla beans. Yum. So a teaspoon of that's going in. You use it the same volume as you would use for your regular vanilla. So if your recipe calls for a teaspoon of vanilla, you can use a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste, and make sure you fish it around in there to get all those yummy seeds off. Okay, so now it is going to be a little bit loud, but I really wanted to show you this on camera so you can see what you want the consistency to be like. So if I could find my lid, oh, it's right here. So probably about 45 seconds. So I'm sorry for the loud noise, but I really want to show you the end product. So here we go.
You know what's so funny is that people think that you hear the noise of the blender, but you don't hear the noise at all.
I can't hear you, but I'll ask you to repeat that when I'm done.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm gonna turn it up a little bit.
I feel like someone's making that noise.
Okay, that's 30 seconds. I'm sorry, that was so loud.
You can't hear the noise at all. That's the funny thing. Like, and same with Sharon, she's doing it. You can't hear the noise at all. So it must be the new phones. They filter out the noise. I know.
So this is what you're looking for. You just don't want any big pieces of the dates or raisins, and that's perfect. That was 30 seconds. And so look at me using my blender spatula. So that's good to go. I'm gonna move this because I won't need it again. Love how the blender did all the heavy lifting there. So I am going to add this to my bowl. You always add wet to dry ingredients when baking, even when you're baking a crazy little cake like this one. So in you go. You can see there's no big chunks of dates or raisins. But you really want to get all that out. Oh, it smells so good, you guys. You can really smell that banana. I used golden raisins here. I kind of prefer golden raisins. They have a little bit brighter flavor than the darker ones, but you can use whatever you like. Shredded carrot, fresh shredded carrot. And we're going to add another little bit of raisins. So a quarter cup went into the blender and another half cup goes into the mix. And then the last thing I'm going to add, and this cake can be nut-free also if you omit the walnuts, but I'm making it for the hubs because it was his birthday and should be home any minute. And so I wanted to do the walnuts. So I'm going to use the EcoChop to chop my walnuts. Now, my store didn't have whole nuts, so they're probably like the little quarter pieces. So I'm only going to pull this like 2 or 3 times. You don't want to make walnut butter, right? Although you could probably in your EcoChop. The other thing I was going to say is you can also, I've done in the EcoChop, I have made oat flour in the EcoChop, just pull it a bunch of times. But because I had to do the other ingredients and it's a little too big of a volume, I wanted to show you the blender, and that's what the original recipe called for. So a couple pulls. 4 pulls, and those are perfect. Like I didn't have to get out a cutting board. I didn't have to get out a knife, just like Sherry said. And in they go. I'm gonna use that blender spatula again, just to fold it all in. And then you have your choice as to what you want to bake this in. The special that I'm featuring is a special that is good until Wednesday the 12th. So jump on it. The special includes 2 of our medium round molds, our pastry bag, and set of 4 pastry bag tips. So I'm going to show you if we have time. I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, we should have time for me to show you a little bit of cake decorating to use the special. I only have 1 medium round. If I had had 2 medium rounds, I would have loved it, but I'm going to grab that special too. So this is our setup. We're going to use the medium round mold. I love this medium round mold because it has straight sides. It's always on your perforated baking sheet. This is the medium perforated baking sheet. Now, we also have, I would love to make this recipe in our flower tray. So a mold is a single shape, a tray is multiple shapes, and this is the flower tray. Wouldn't it be so beautiful in there? You see how I store my trays all rolled up, secured with a rubber band, but also just because I want to show you a little bit more. Sherry showed you the large baking sheet. This is the small set. I love this small set. And I also wanted to call your attention to the fact that if you buy baking sheets right now, small, medium, or large, they come with this blue film and you're going to want to remove that before you use it. It just keeps it from getting scratched in transit. So I wanted to be sure to show you that. But don't you love that little small set? And then the medium and large are amazing too. So no spray grease or oil, no parchment, no foil, no sticking, no kidding. And by the way, I got this recipe from my dear friend, Leslie Burnett, who's on tonight. And I love you, girl. Mwah. Okay, so we're going to just pour it in. Oops, it always wants to have a little bit of flour in the bottom, so make sure you really get down to the bottom. So you're just going to pour it right on in. Okay, it smells so good, you guys. You can smell those dates and the banana. You're just going to spread it out. I made a little mess, so I'm going to grab, I'm just going to go like that. Boop. Easy peasy. All right. Now, the other beauty of our product is you don't prep the pan and there's no sticking on the other end. So you just, with the Fortis product, we've noticed that you should probably let it sit for 10 minutes after it comes out of the oven, and then you can unmold it beautifully. But how yummy does that look? So in it goes. I'm going to give you a little baking tip that I learned just a couple months ago. So I was having trouble with my oven. It wasn't feeling like it was the right temperature. So I did two things. Number one, I put up, you can get those little thermometers at the grocery store. They're like $5. So you can test and see, like, if you turn it to 350, is it actually 350 in there? So I discovered that my oven was actually off by 50 degrees. Don't know how it happened. So I did have someone come out and recalibrate my oven. So that's the second thing you can do. But one thing he did tell me was, if you have an oven that has like a cold spot in the corner, oh, my back left side, the cookies don't cook. What he said was, at some point during the preheating process, open your oven and close your oven. It lets the air circulate. Otherwise, when you have it closed the whole time during the preheating process, you might have those cold spots, but that just rush of fresh air will kind of get it kind of mixed in. So that's your Le Bon tip for today. 350 for 40 to 45 minutes. Center back. We are going to set the timer for 40 minutes. Now, if by magic, this is what it looks like when it comes out. So, oh my gosh, it smells so good. You can see it doesn't rise a whole lot, but it doesn't need to, because it is just a beautiful little cake. You can see it's just studded with the carrots. You can see a little bit of banana in there. So yummy. So I would totally serve this just as is. Get your little cake server knife and, you know, cut little wedges with your coffee. But because it's the Hub's birthday, I'm going to do it 2-layer. And I did a little bit of non-dairy honey cream cheese frosting. So the recipe that you're going to get from your consultant has my preferred brands of the Miyoko's butter and the Kite Hill cream cheese. If you don't worry about dairy, then your ratios will be the same. And this is the recipe I've used from Ina Garten: a stick of butter and a block of cream cheese. And she uses powdered sugar, but I used my absolute favorite, Manuka honey. And for the 8 ounces of cream cheese, 8 ounces of butter, I only used 2 tablespoons of the honey. OMG. Let me show you what it looks like. So I did this already because I didn't want you to have to wait again for another machine. But also, just so you know, you can use bond mats as lids. So this is our octagonal bond mat. This is your cream cheese frosting. OMG. So I did it just a little bit ago. And I just did a single batch. If you wanted to have it, you know, lots of design, then you could double that recipe. But I'm going to use 2 of the things that are on special. So part of the special is you get the 2 mediums, you get a pastry bag, and you get a set of 4 tips. Now, when you get your pastry bag, you're going to want to cut the end off. Do you see how when it comes, it's that long? You want to cut a little bit off. And your consultant has a little paper they can send you. Now, what I recommend you add to that order is the pastry bag stand. Game changer. along with the blender spatula. So today we're just going to do a really quick down and dirty because we're kind of, we don't want to keep you here all night, although I would love it. The pastry bag tips are, you get 2 star tips, different sizes, and 2 round tips. So because I'm going to eventually put that other layer on top, I'm going to decorate it just to show you how real quick. And then I'm just going to smooth it out because I'm going to plunk the other one on top. But in order to use it, I'm going to use the star tip. You open up your pastry bag and just drop it in. And you push it through the bottom, just like so, okay? Then you put it in your pastry bag stand, so snazzy. Fold it down like a cuff. And then imagine I had another blender spatula. Do you see how perfectly that fits down in your bowl? I don't have a second one. I'm going to order a second one, but so I'm going to put this cream cheese frosting, non-dairy, honey, right into the bag. How easy is that to load? And I'm not going to put a whole lot of frosting. Like I said, I could have doubled this and I could have made fancy schmancy, but the Hubs doesn't really need that much either. Okay, so this is what you can do. Easy peasy way. A lot of times if I have a single layer cake like this, what I'll do is I'll go around with little rosettes. So what you do is you kind of shake it down. You're going to guide with your dominant hand, which is my right hand. You're going to twist it like that. So you see how you've loaded all that frosting. I always practice the first little piping on my roll pat. So this is my roll pat. You see, you probably didn't even notice it, but this is what we use to roll out cookies. But it's a great workspace because it really would anchor your cutting board, keeps your mess controlled. And I always just kind of like the first little pass you do, it wants to do a little toot, and then like the frosting just spurts out. So you kind of want to get rid of that first. Just like that, just to get it going. So like I said, if I had like a cake like this, I might just do like little rosettes all the way around, kind of like that, not too much. Or conversely, you could kind of do kind of a bigger flower, medium flower, and then like little rosettes, kind of like that. Anything that's kind of like a little bit, off center looks kind of cool. But because I'm going to do the second layer, I'm just going to use like about half of this in any design I want. Save it back in that pastry bag stand. And then I'm going to take either our stainless steel offset spatula or the stainless steel mini spatula, and I'm going to use it to just spread that out all the way to the side. I wish I had one of those fancy, like little Lazy Susan things for decorating. And just go like so. Like I said, I'm not going to do too much because neither the Hubs nor I need a bunch of cream cheese frosting, whether it's non-dairy or not. But you can see it has that beautiful honey color to it. You want to go all the way to the side. Just like so. You could just serve it like this too, just with a little bit of the frosting. But when that other one comes out and cools, then I'll put that. You always want to, when you're doing a layer cake, you either want to make sure the layers are even by cutting the top off, or you can, how sometimes on a traditional cake, it does bow a little bit in the middle. This one really didn't, so you don't really have to worry about it. But I usually do the top down. And then there you go. So there you have it, my friends. A gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, oil-free, sugar-free, and can be nut-free cake that can be your showstopper, birthday cake, celebration cake, and it can still meet your health goals. So with that, I'm going to send it back to Teresa to wrap it up.
Oh my gosh, Dana, that looks so good. I wish you were close enough I could taste it. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. I wanted to show you guys because my quinoa enchilada bake is out. And I forgot to tell you, cover it. You bake it covered. And this has been out for a good, 15 minutes. But I keep the Bon Mat on top because it stays nice and warm by keeping that on top. And I just want to show you how gorgeous that looks. It smells so good in here. And then I also want to show you, I had made this the other night. And I did this in our 6 loaf. And look at those individual servings that it makes perfectly, garnished with some green onion, cilantro, and avocado. Or we like to serve it with our homemade guacamole, which I put the link to that recipe in the chat. If you didn't see that, go check, not the recipe, but the video to show it. But I also have a surprise for you because I tried a new recipe today. This recipe is not typed up, but it's so simple, and I'm so excited to show you because my boys love ice cream, and I have not been letting them buy ice cream because we're eating healthy. So this weekend, I made a fun recipe I want to share with you guys. So simple. And then tonight, I molded it to show you what it does. So what we do is this is 3 ingredients: cottage cheese, frozen raspberries, and maple syrup. And I put it in the mini cube tray. I just did this literally before we came on about an hour ago. And I wanted to show you guys this mini cube tray because I've had some customers asking about this. And look at these adorable little frozen bites that makes. So yummy and tasty. And it's protein. It's literally cottage cheese and frozen raspberries and a little bit of maple syrup. So that's really fun. The mini cube tray is a great little bite-sized desserts. And then this is tray I haven't used very much, but this is the perfect recipe for it. And this is our popsicle tray, you guys. And so I did this. I am so excited about this. My boys haven't even seen this yet. But this is so fun. We did it this weekend with strawberries and it was delicious. And I like raspberries even better because my mom and dad are on. I think my dad would love this recipe and it's healthy. So this is literally, it is a 1 16-ounce container of low-fat or fat-free cottage cheese. And then 1 12-ounce bag of frozen raspberries. And then you can do either 1/4 of a cup maple syrup or 1/2 cup maple syrup, depending how sweet you like it. Super tasty, super delicious. We'll get this typed up for you guys, but it's so simple, and I'm really happy to share it with you tonight because this is going to be a fun treat my family's going to love and still be healthy. So we hope that you guys enjoyed all the recipes we shared tonight, and most importantly, the tips along the way. I learned so much from both Sherry and Dana. I love doing these classes with them. I'm glad that you're back and healthy, Dana. And we're so excited to have all you here tonight. If you missed the class live, reach out to your consultant for the next class that we're going to do, mega class in March. And then if you're here right now or you're watching the recording and you want to know about the specials, we've got lots of specials going on. So reach out to your consultant. They'll help you. Summer ending tomorrow night. Cindy and our CEO, is still doing Taste the Trend cooking classes as well. She's doing them every week. Good for her. It's so awesome. It's a lot of work and she's doing some great classes for us. So those are on Tuesday nights. If you're interested in attending those, reach out to your consultant for those links as well. And thanks everyone for being here. Thank you, Dana and Sherry, for your great presentations. And happy Heart Month, you guys. Enjoy the healthy eating and being with those that you love. And we sure are glad that you guys were all here with us tonight. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.